Alright, and welcome everybody back to RPM Esports F1. I am your commentator, always Rick, here tonight. Oh, and that's my own voice on stream, that's not... Alright, that's better. I am your commentator for tonight, always Rick 2. I am joined by Shack Attack.
Yeah, hello everyone. I hope you guys are all doing well. We're here for France with Logia, and it's going to be a pretty interesting qualifying session at least because it's heavy rain, it seems like.
It is heavy rain, and so far all drivers have wets on except for Rose Bitches, who's still in the pit lane, and so far no one got out of the pit lane. So that's gonna be a very, very curious one. Who's gonna have the guts to take this track on wet first?
Yeah, it is gonna be very, very interesting, especially because this track is so high speed. So it's gonna be difficult for these guys on the wets. But it seems like I think that Sprink in the house has gone up first, so he's gonna be the guy setting the pace first.
And he is one of the first cars to get out, and he is so far the one and the only car to get out on the track. We got Richie joining us in chat. Welcome, Richie. How are you doing, mate? And also Evil Master being very confused of being a Big Buggy being in low gear. And yeah, Big Buggy pace wasn't good enough at the moment for mid gear, and he wanted to try out the low gear division, see if he can be a big opponent in this division. And so far it looks like Springer's having some trouble on the rears.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult, especially because they're not really used to a wet track, and France, I'm sure they've been practicing a lot in the dry, but not really in the wet. So it is going to be a bit of a struggle. But yeah, Big Puggy, he does have decent pace, so we'll see what he does in his first race in low gear. It's not going to be the easiest one in qualifying though, but yeah, in the race we'll see how he does.
No, yeah, for sure. He's going to be challenged here tonight on this track. And also Colin joining us. Welcome, Colin. And also Chris saying let's go. And yeah, let's go for low gear division. I'm very excited to see these guys out on track as the first round of RPM in round 4. And it's going to be France this week. Lovely track, in my opinion. I don't know what's your opinion on the track?
Yeah, I really enjoy the track. I like the high-speed nature of it and the high-speed corners, and the long straights as well. Really provide good racing. At least in the game, maybe not in real life, but in the game, the racing is pretty fun, especially with the long straights and slipstream and all that
for sure.
stuff.
And I'm getting some advice to put your mic a bit lower, since your audio is flaming through the speakers here. I can't hear it myself, of course, but it's gonna be worked on.
Yep, hopefully. And it looks like one of the McLarens has spun already on their outlap, so showing the difficult nature of this track already.
Yeah, Spivey, it looks like Spivey spun on his outlap because he invalidated the lap. And Rusty seems okay, so it seems one of the McLarens is doing pretty well as he didn't invalidate it outlap. But let's go on Sprinkers first, as he is in the Haas car, is already on the time. And he's gonna get a yellow flag for a Ferrari car in front of him. And that can only be one person on track, and that's Westy. Of course, these conditions can be so tough. And you gotta really be patient here to bring that car home safely in the qualifying.
Yeah, and it looks like Sprink has done a pretty good job in the first half of his lap, just taking it slow, not trying to make any mistakes, because, well, this lap could well be his only lap. With you know, he could spin and maybe even retire later on in the quali session, so he does have to try and make this count.
And let me check, Colin, for the race predictions.
It does look dry for the whole thing.
Yeah, it does look dry for the race, so it's going to be just a really tricky qualifying. And for the race, it seems all good. Bit of overcast during the halfway through the race, but then later on we're going to get sun again, and the drivers will be driving a dry race. So Sprink invalidated his lap on the last corner, I believe, and he will be doing another set on the stint on this set. Wow, just the other way around. As
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
now on board with Westy, who's still
Yeah,
a
and
bit struggling.
a lot of these guys will be doing multiple laps on their tires, as we usually see with wet qualifying.
Yeah, for sure. And I think best way to attack these conditions is to wait as long as possible and try to get a dry line on track. And you're not gonna set a wet setup, of course, if you know the race is gonna be dry.
Yeah, and that makes qualifying even more challenging to just stay on the track.
Yeah, for sure. And so far, both the Aston Martins are doing really well. Sabiaka taking pole position currently with a 1:44.7, and we got Jones on a 45.9, and Rusty on a P3 with a 1:47.0. So that's really close between P2 and 3. Oh no, it's not. It's a 1.1 second. But still, good from the guys to get a lap in. Maverick joining on P4. Mesqueta goes P2 now with a 1:45.7. So that's 2 tenths up towards P3. And the Williams driver will be happy with that lap.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, the two Aston Martins pretty quick. Then Sabiaka in pole and Jones in fourth right now, and they are leading the Constructors' Championship as it stands. So, yeah, they'll want to be as high up on the grid as possible.
Definitely, for sure. And it looks like Westy found the grip again as he did a speed 2 lap with a 1:45.737, and that's just 2/100ths of a second faster than Mesqueta. But then Jones got back in and he improved his lap there.
But still, quite far down his teammate. So his teammate doing a great job, and also Big Puggy in second there, splitting the two Aston Martins. So he's showing pace as well.
Yeah, so far everybody seems to be having a good grip. Of course, the gaps are starting to form massively at the moment, with 1.2 second lead on the first row of the grid. And Altea now going P2. Big Buggy actually joining on P3.
Yeah, and Octavio seems to be on a pretty good lap as well. And let's see where he goes. He does well. He does stay P9, but he did have a pretty good sector 1 there.
I think there's something going on there. I wonder because Altea is already on P2 at my screen, so there might be a little.
I did
delay.
mean Octavio.
Ah, Octavio. There we go.
Yeah.
Octavio. That's a big explanation there.
Yeah, the names do look pretty similar, but yeah, in the Red Bull, good job on his second lap.
Sprink now going P2, so there's a lot of shoveling up front for the P2 starting position.
Yeah, and this I think in these qualifying sessions it's always going to be like that. As you said earlier, the Trump keeps ramping up as the session goes on. So I think the last drivers who set a lap after the 18 minutes is up, I think they're going to have a really good position. They're going to have a really good chance of starting in a high position.
For sure. And of course, free tire choice in the race as well. So this can definitely change up some strategies made before the race. And Sinful seems to be having a lot of trouble on the wet track here. Locks up a bit there. And he is way off time at the moment. But
Yeah,
let's see what he
is.
can
do. Yeah, and as you were saying, yeah, it's going to be a free tire choice. I'm not sure, but I've heard that the normal strategy would be a one-stop soft to medium. But yeah, with the free tire choice, it's going to be interesting to see what the strategies are as Sinful does go into P11.
Yeah, Sinful joining at P11 indeed. And yeah, the tire choice is of course free, as I said. And I do know for a fact, because I've seen it multiple times now, that soft medium is possible. The only question is, can your setup keep it enough on the tire wear?
Yeah, of course. this track is quite decent with tyre wear. I think it's not too difficult with the wear, so I think it's going to make it a bit easier for the drivers. But again, it's all about the drivers who could look after the tyres the most to maybe pit later and then be on fresher tyres for the end of the race.
Yeah, of course the tires are going to be fresh, so no wear on them after the qualifying. So that can definitely help as well to get that one stop working. And we see some cars in the pit lane thinking of intermediates. But as I have a look on it and track, it really doesn't seem like intermediates yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, the rain, from what I've seen, has stayed the same, but who knows what these drivers could do on the inters. In my opinion, well, the wets would be the better tyre. But we see Altea, Mosquito, Octavio, Westy, and Marcio can also. They might also try out the intermediate. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But from what it looks like, I think it's still wet tyre conditions.
And a lovely question from Richie in chat, since we are in France indeed. And as I am a chef for myself, I work in a restaurant. He asking what French dish we cook in a restaurant. Well, we do have duck breast with orange sauce, so it's a lovely one.
I don't know how nice that sounds.
Yeah, it sounds a bit weird, doesn't it?
Have you had it? Or
Yeah,
have you just
I
cooked
love
it?
it. No, I love it.
Sounds interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting. It's an interesting dish.
Yeah, and Cosmo then on his first lap of the quali session, I think, on the wet tire. So let's see what he can do.
And I did practice yesterday with Cosmo, and he did a really good stint on the qualifying yesterday in the race. His race was a bit more off target, but still, yeah, a lovely pace in the qualifying, and I hope he can continue that pace towards this qualifying as well in these type of conditions, and then in the race as well.
Yeah, of course. Cosmo always seems to be on the pace during the actual league races, even if he's a bit off the pace in practice. So yeah, he'll definitely be trying to show his pace come the race. And yeah, he'll probably be fighting a few drivers because he does have he's very, very fast when he wants to be.
He definitely is, and he already got a purple sector 2 there, so that might be a promising one.
Yeah, on the task system, it does have his name as someone else's name, so that's a bit confusing, but I'll try to keep up with it anyway.
Yeah, sometimes the task might be a bit confusing and a lot of data at the same time as well, so it can be a bit confusing. Cosmos now coming into the last few corners here on the wet France. And I
See what he does. Pretty clean lap from him so far.
Yeah, so far, for sure. And he's doing a bit of a weird line towards the finishing line, but he goes P10. I expected him to be a bit faster, as his lap seemed really clean.
Yeah, definitely, but he's only done one lap compared to everyone else who's done multiple, so I think he'll get there when it comes to the end of quali.
Oh yeah, for sure. And let's switch to one of the cars going on an intermediate last stint. It's Jones on P2, and Wesley actually going P1 on the intermediate. So I guess the tires will work.
Yeah, as Wesley's showing, they definitely will.
Strange thing is,
yep.
Sabiaka did improve on the wets.
Yeah, he did improve on the wets, but Westy has gone faster by a whole second. So maybe the intermediates will work.
Yeah, apparently it does, as Jones goes to not a purple one. And of course, we do know the game can be a bit confusing in that.
Yeah, TAS has the correct timings. So it'll tell you when they're purple, even if the game doesn't.
Let's see what Jones can do. And then on the P2 position in the Aston Martin, leading the championship. So the expectations from him are maybe a bit high in this race. A bit of wheel spin on the last corner. And there he goes. That's almost 2 seconds faster as well as Westy. 1 second faster as well to Westy. And that's a pole position lap for Jones there.
Yeah, and I think Altea is the next driver on... Rusty Orkan actually, next driver on the intermediate. So let's see what he can do.
Nice exit there, taking a bit wide, but better traction there. Now Rusty Orkan goes to P3.
Yeah, so the last of the intermediate runners, but still really decent pace there.
Yeah, for sure. And we can see he did 2 laps on the intermediate, so he needed some time to warm those tires a bit up and get the right temperature in them. And the fake Italian is back in chat as well. Mr. Baker. Musqueta then through the last corner, also on the intermediates. Let's see what he can do. He already showed quite a good pace in the beginning of the qualifying. And he stayed in for quite a few. And there he goes. P2 for Musqueta in the Williams on a 1:42.0.
That is a great lap. Purple sector 3 as well, but Big Puggy does have purple sector 1 and 2 by quite a gap. So let's see what he can do.
Let's get on board with the Mercedes then. As he's now going through the last corner. And it seems like he is on a really good pace here.
Yeah, of course, shuffling from mid-gear, so it's always going to be fast.
Oh, and that's a P2 position. The Sprink actually took P1 with 1:40.7.
So 2 tenths the gap from first and second. So it looks pretty close up at the top.
And we've got Spivey who's on the invalidation lap, and the Maverick is 1.5 seconds up as well. And that's all. Yeah, that's in the last sector, so he might have had a bit of trouble in the beginning of his lap. But that shows that the intermediates work perfectly in these type of conditions.
Yeah, and it does look like the rain might be going a bit, and I think Maverick will be able to do 1 more lap. Oh no, he won't. I think he just missed it. Yeah.
Flag. But he's P7. That's a decent result. Only a few other cars can jump him, as Sinful invalidated this lap. Matt Johnson still on a lap. He is 7 tenths up in the ending of sector 2.
Yeah, Jones also invalidated, so he's not going to be able to get snatch pole off Sprink.
Sprink improving a bit more. And this looks like a really nice starting grid.
Yeah, it does indeed. Root is about to finish his lap as well, and he goes P5. So, solid lap from him.
Altea also still on the lap. He is in the end of sector 2 now. Matt Johnston going for P1.
Wow.
And that's a 10th up towards Sprink, not even less. And that's a really good lap from the Alpine driver. Let's switch to Altea then, but he is way up on time and he also invalidated his lap. So this is going to be our starting grid. With an insane good lap from Matt Johnson in the last few seconds of the qualifying.
Yeah, last second, that was really, really unexpected, but great job from him on pole. But again, the top 2 are really close, because the gap between Matt and Spring is less than a tenth, less than half a tenth even. It's
in the top 3, it's insanely close. So this is going to be a real interesting race. Yeah, for sure.
And of course, it being dry, the conditions are going to be a bit different, so not everyone's going to be as used to it. So it's just going to make for quite an interesting start.
It will be interesting from here. And the race will start anytime now. Yes, we're gonna go to the final grid formation for France round 4 in low gear division. And I'm surprised to see actually that no one went off in the qualifying, so everybody kept it clean and nice.
Everybody set a lap as well.
Also, yeah. So we got Matt Johnson on P1 with an amazing lap in the last few seconds of the qualifying. Then we got Spring who improved his lap, but just not enough on P2. Then we're gonna go to the second starting row. It's Big Puggy and Jones. Then we got Mesquita, Rosebeertje, Altea and Westy, Maverick and Rossio again. Zabiaka all the way dropped down to P11 on the wets. With Simful behind him, Cosmo on P13, Spivey on P14, and all the way at the back at P15 we've got Octavio in the Williams.
Yeah, and it's going to be quite interesting because, of course, the two Aston Martins are leading the Constructors' Championship, and they're also a few points behind Ferrari in the championship of all the gears. So yeah, it's I'm sure they would on a good position to maybe top the Constructors' Championships for mid gear, low gear, and high gear.
For sure. And it's going to be a really interesting race in my opinion. Lovely track, lots of runoff, so it's not that difficult to get back on track on the right time. As we are waiting for the cars to get on grid.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Zabajaka in the Aston Martin, I think he did get caught out a bit because he was one of the cars who didn't set a lap on the wets, and he's tying down in P11. And of course, he's not going to get that privilege of having a free choice of tyre because everyone's getting a free choice of tyre. So him being in P11 doesn't really mean too much right now.
No, for sure. And of course, he did his stint on the wets. So that's going to be an interesting one. I see a lot of yellow tires here. A lot. So let's see who. And it's only Cosmo on the softs.
Yeah, wow. That's a lot of people on mediums, man.
A lot of people on the mediums.
And one on the hards as well.
Yeah, Maverick is on the hard, so he's gonna try to get as many places. I do know the hards work fine here, but he's gonna try to get as many places up.
Yeah.
For his strategy, I guess, and then go to the end for a few more laps on the softs.
And I'm guessing it's a one stop for everyone then. So for the medium runners, it'll be med to soft. For Cosmo, it'll be soft to med, and for the Maverick, I'm guessing it'll be hard to soft. So one stop for everyone. So this race is going to be all about the raw pace.
It's going to be all about pace and strategy in this race, as most of the grid is all on the same tire. As Matt Johnson is leading the grid towards the finishing line, warming up those mediums good, and then we are gonna be ready to race here in a sunny France after a wet qualifying.
Yeah, definitely going to be an exciting race. This one, especially Cosmo. I'm interested to see what Cosmo can do on his soft, starting down in P13.
I'm curious as well. Of course, we know it's a very, very short run towards turn 1. And then it's going to be a difficult one in the combination turns, as sector 1 is full of combinations. And
Definitely.
then you get the really, really fast and long bar of sector 2, of course. So it's going to be a really, really interesting start here, I guess.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, just gonna wait and see what happens, and hopefully there aren't too many collisions. Let's hope everyone can get out of turn 1 cleanly.
Matt Johnson now taking his position on P1, then Spring joining him on P2, and Buggy on P3. with Jones behind him. We're gonna take a look at the grid as I want a good view on the lights, but I can't. Let's go on board with Spring to get the lights and see how P2 will start his race, as we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights on, and when they are off we are racing it, which is now, and it looks like a really good start from Spring, who's already attacking Matt Johnson towards the rear. Turn 1, Matt Johnson using a lot of ERS there to defend, I guess. Yeah, he already used 5% of it. And Big Buggy having a really good start as well, already back on the rear of Spring. Musqueta falling down a bit, and we got some action in the back from Maverick, having already jumped Altea there, and Cosmo already on P8.
Great start from Cosmo. Spivey with no front wing after spinning there on turn 1. Lewis Burge with damaged front wing as well, but everyone else seems to have made it through cleanly, and Puggy now trying to go up the inside of Springs there and up into second place.
Oh yeah, and that's I missed the overtake from Puggy there, but what a good start there. It seems all clear, but oh, and it's Musqueta who spun, and Musqueta's off. Did he get damaged? It doesn't look like it. We have, of course, our telemetry system for that.
Yep, he does not have damage, so he may have just spun by himself.
Yeah, and yeah, it's very clear that Spivey did got some damage there, and that's unlucky for the McLaren car on the first lap of the race. It's gonna cost him a lot of time, as Matt Johnson is still leading the race with Big Buggy behind him with 6/10 gap, and Spring losing out a bit towards the P2 position, but grabbing it back here with a good exit on the second to last corner.
Yeah,
now the gap towards Matt Johnson starts to form.
And also Cosmo loving the racing on the first lap. He's already up into P7 and fighting the Red Bull of Altea.
Yeah, for sure. And also Maverick seems to be having a really good feeling on this track, since he already got up to P5 on those hard tires. Of course, Cosmo will probably take him on the soft tires, but he can do a longer run than Cosmo in AlphaTauri.
Yeah, definitely. Strategy is going to be interesting between the two drivers on different tires.
So we're gonna join on board with Cosmo, and it seems like Cosmo really needs the use of ERS to get close to Maverick, and Maverick actually having an advantage of 20% towards Cosmo on the ERS. So it seems Maverick just has his pace on those hard tires, and they work perfectly for him.
Yeah, and I think Cosmo will be eager to get past Maverick, because of course Maverick is on the slower tires, and Cosmo really can't afford to be held up too much longer, because in the likes of Altea and the McLaren of Rusty, Oilcan and Westy will challenge as well.
Oh, and we already got a side by side with Cosmo and Maverick. Cosmo on the inside line, but Maverick taking it back, and this is side by side action here between the Alfa Romeo and the AlphaTauri. Bit of going wide there, and Maverick had to avoid the collision, so giving Altea the chance to switch it up a place. But Maverick not giving up, still taking the inside line on the second to last corner, still outside line now, and he took the position back. In the back we got Westy joining a fight with Rusty Oilcan. There's a lot going on in the first laps of the race in France of low gear, and we are loving it.
Yeah, of course, and DRS is now enabled as well, so it's going to be a bit easier for the drivers to overtake. There's a bit of contact between Oilcan and Westy there through turn 1 and 2.
Bit of tyre bumping there, but it seems like both cars get out clean. Of course, it is still a sport, ladies and gentlemen, and we love to see if the sports get a bit more harder than it should. Spring really on the back of Big Puggy here, so let's switch off to the front of the grid, as Jones is really pushing the pressure on the Haas as well.
Yep, and it's really going to get close now that DRS is enabled. We might see a lot of DRS trains, as we're already seeing, from P6 all the way down to P13, with a big train forming behind them. So yeah, it's going to be interesting with that.
Big Buggy taking a wider line there for a better exit, And Sprink having a bit of trouble on the curb.
Yep, definitely seems to be struggling on that corner, which is always pretty challenging. The last sector is pretty difficult to get right, but Puggy's showing that he can get it right.
Those curbs are really there to spit you out of the race. If you take it under acceleration on the inside curb, you will spin or lose the car slightly and will cost you a lot of time. Cosmo taking the fastest lap of the race, and Maverick having a really good race on his own so far, with quite a gap between him and Cosmo, but a small amount of pressure of Altea behind him.
Yeah, and Cosmo and Westy just got a penalty on the same corner, I think, so 3 seconds will damage their races a bit, unless they can pit and get it removed.
Let's see what, yeah, it's a 3-second penalty.
And with Sprink on the outside of Puggy as well. And with DRS, he's got P2. Oh, Sprink spun.
Oh, and I missed that. Oh, that's so sad. And this is going to cost him a lot of positions. Cosmo now going up to P4, Maverick in P5, and Altea in P6. Westy overtook Rusty Oil again, and he is now in P7. Sprink dropping down to P9.
Yeah, Sprink just getting a bit too eager on the brakes there. I think tried to brake while turning too much, and unfortunately wasn't able to save the car through the chicane.
And he was also looking for the gap on Rusty Oil can in the fast right-hander. Well, that wasn't working. And now he has the pressure of Zabiaka, who's still running on P10.
Yeah, Sprink will want to get past this train as soon as possible, because if he doesn't, it's going to be very difficult to overtake.
Bit of touching between Sinful and Zabiaka there, but Sinful took the position, and there might be some questions after the race if that was just clean enough to make it through. Rusty again having a battle with Sprink here, a bit of contact.
But Sprink up into PA, and I think that was a fairly clean move. I do think Rusty Oil Can did understeer into him a bit. But yeah, Sprink just wanting to get past the drivers in front as soon as possible.
Yeah, of course.
And Jones still on the back of Puggy. He might even try and make the overtake into the chicane.
Oh, and he's a really good line there. Big Puggy defending. And there's contact! Big Puggy spinning out contact with Jones. And now let's see where he's gonna drop to. He has minor fell back as he only got jumped by Cosmo. The gap was just enough to rejoin the track.
And because of that, Cosmo now in the podium then. Doesn't look like Puggy doesn't have any damage, which is of course good for him. But yeah, that allows Cosmo into the podium, which is really good for his race. He's made up 10 positions from the start, so he's the top gainer of the field so far.
And it's gonna be an amazing race so far here on the mid of the pack, as we got a small DRS train here between Rusty again all the way up to the Maverick. And Colin, I think that's a sensitive question. That's a sensitive question.
I think we should ask Max. He might have the answer.
Yeah, well, we all know you, Mr. Lewis.
No, so there is a big train forming behind Altea. Maverick seems to have just capped Altea by 1 point. Oh no, he hasn't. So Altea is still in DRS of Maverick. But Westy is so close behind him with Slipstream. Not a lot of ERS, but neither do a lot of the drivers. So yeah, DRS and Slipstream will definitely help them overtaking.
Yeah, for sure, and it seems like on the braking, Altea really has the advantage. But Maverick has a really good pace on those hard tires, on the straights.
Yeah, and I think he is saving a lot more ERS than the rest of the group, because well, the Maverick has about 25% ERS, whereas Altea has no ERS currently, and yeah, the rest of the guys have like less than 10% ERS, so around 10% ERS. So the Maverick really able to save his ERS to use it on the straights. And who's that? That's Sprink. Spink is round, down in speed 12.
Oh yeah, he's off again. Oh man, that's really sad for him as he had a really good
Really
qualifying.
struggling.
But what caught my eye is that Mesquita already got a 10-second penalty. And I don't know why, because it seems like he has no damage. But
Yeah.
10 seconds should be a corner cutting.
Well, he does have damage. No,
Oh,
he
yeah,
does.
he does, yeah.
He's definitely gonna
Doesn't
pit.
show in the game though.
He did have. It was corner cutting. One corner, I think he cut. No, and he has retired, unfortunately.
Oh, and that's unfortunately indeed, as he of course was in the points anyway. But yeah, I get frustration got him. As Westy is now past Altea in the meantime, and now on his way to overtake Maverick as well. He doesn't want to dive bomb there, and he's absolutely right. Just get a better exit here and you will take the position. But Maverick having a really good pace on his heart, and he seems like having the better exits all the time.
Yeah, definitely. He's being very smart with his ERS, and his pace is really good as well. So it's really playing into his hands, and this is really going to help him because, of course, all the guys in the mediums will pit before him, and Maverick being in front of the pack, he's really controlling their tyre wear, maybe forcing them to pit earlier, and just giving a bit of an advantage to the Maverick.
And of course, the gap between him and Big Buggy isn't that big as well. It's only 3 seconds, and if you have a good in lap, you might try the overcut.
Yeah, and I'll check the tyre wear right now. It seems like Cosmo does have 56% on his front left tyre, which is obviously the tyre that takes the most pounding around the circuit.
That's a really tricky move from Westy there, as he pushed off Maverick a bit off track there. And Maverick now having a battle with Altea, DRS though. Both cars having DRS, and now it's gonna be an interesting one. Maverick lost 2 positions. Late break. Oh, and there's a touch! Middle of the track, and he needs to try to avoid all those cars.
Yeah, Zabadraka doing a very good job of avoiding the Maverick. Then he spins once again, just struggling with overheated tires. Oh! He goes into spin! Wow, that was close. No damage done to both of the cars, luckily.
And he did get a 5 seconds for the minor touch there. And oh my god, that was, yeah, I think it all started with the really gutsy move from Westy. Making a small acceleration move on the inside of Maverick, and he just panicked at the moment. Got out of the track, and then he lost the position towards Altea, then tried to get back on the late break, but it might have been a bit too much from the Alfa Romeo driver here, who was driving such a clean race.
Yeah, well, oh, there's like a spin from someone, I think Sinful there, just losing it out of turn 1. But yeah, we'll see what the stewards have to say, like if they do get involved. But I think we're going to see a few pit stops soon, especially from Cosmo, whose tires are nearly at 70%.
Sinful defending now on Sprink. Sprink who will be lucky to still drive after Maverick having so much trouble to get back on track in a safe way, and I can imagine. I mean, those tires would have heated up so bad. In the meantime, we got 3 cars battling for P6, and Zabiaka now showing he has the patience to wait and drive as he should. He is running P6 with Rusty and Octavio just behind him. Yeah,
and Richie saying that going side by side through the chicane after the straight really isn't advisable. And yeah, I get why he's saying that because we've seen a few incidents on that corner. Very difficult because yeah, it's very high speed for a chicane. really.
You enter that chicane on a DRS straight, so you will enter it with 320 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a mental move to go side by side through that chicane, and yeah, sometimes it does end up with one person being unlucky. Unfortunately, this time it ended up with two guys spinning out, and it's no shame, of course, for trying, but
yeah, of course, sometimes you gotta go for it, and sometimes these things just happen.
we can see now that the gaps are starting to form just a bit. The smallest gap on track at the moment is going to be between Octavio and Ruscio again, but also Big Buggy closing in towards Cosmo again.
Yeah, Puggy has had decent pace here, especially after spinning, already catching up to Cosmo, who's on very worn tyres. So I wouldn't be surprised if Cosmo pits pretty soon, and Puggy inherits P3. But of course, they're on different strategies, so I wouldn't be surprised if Cosmo and Puggy are together at the end of the race.
No, for sure. Cosmo seems to be pitting now, and that would be advisable as it's L11 laps in, and those softs will start to wear off massively at the moment. Let's see what he's gonna do, as I still got on penalties, I didn't even notice. Is he gonna try to do 16 lap on those mediums? And he does.
Yeah, he does, which I think is possible. A few other guys pitting as well. We got Rusty Oil Can going for the undercut.
I'll say yeah, trying the soft tires. So he's gonna be two stop. Oh, he's gonna go medium soft. And Barker, yeah, indeed, Maverick is a really good driver on those hards. His strategies are always good on those hard tires, and it's just an unlucky thing for him that this happened here today.
Yeah, and we'll see what Rusty Oil Can do, especially because his pit onto the hards. He's the first person of the medium runners to pit onto the hard tires. So yeah, I guess a lot of other people will be pitting to just cover off his undercut.
And Westy following the car of Zabiaka, trying to get that P4 in before his strategy starts to work. DRS open for Westy, but this is just a short run, so he just needs to keep it within the DRS range in this one.
Yeah, definitely. He has less tire wear than Tapajaka, and if he just keeps it clean throughout this first sector, then he definitely will be on the back of the Aston Martin's engine come turn 8, which is a chicane after this trick.
And watching the gap between Sinful and Cosmo, we can see the pace of what those new medium tires have. Seeing Sinful drop from 3/10 all the way to 1.4. Oh, a lane break from Westy, and there's a touch on the rear of Zabiaka. And Zabiaka now getting a 10-second.
10 seconds, that's going to really destroy his race.
That's really going to be destroying for his race indeed. Westy got another 3 seconds, so he's going to have 6 now. And Westy not feeling this track here tonight. He's going to be mad at me for choosing it though.
I'm sure a lot of drivers are, because yeah, a lot of drivers not really liking this track, fortunately for you. But yeah, Westy very lucky not to get damage to his front wing. And he does.
He did, yeah. He pitted, and let's see what he's gonna do. Zabiaka still going. I don't know how he overtook Westy there. Dropped down to Westy there, but I don't know. Octavia going in as well. Spring still running, and so are all the other cars behind them. still on track. Westy going for the hard tires, so he's gonna do 14 on those hards. Octavio choosing the softs. So another 2 cars in, 2 different strategies.
That is very interesting for the soft runners, and it's going to be quite interesting to see what they can do on their soft tires. Of course, they're going to be faster, but will their strategy allow them to and be at the top of the field come the end of the race? Because of course they might have to pit again, seeing as the tires wear out so fast.
And we're now on board with the leader of the race, who's having a race of his own. Nothing happening around him, nothing happening towards him. And this must be just cruising. As also for Jones, of course, being in P2, he's going to pit though. So he's gonna fall back in traffic. But it's not gonna be massive. And it's double stack!
Oh.
Double stack. At Aston Martin, big buggy going in as well. Let's see what Matt Johnson is going to do, because he is still running those mediums, and is the gap big enough to keep his position after his pit? Sabiaka dropping down to P5, Buggy to P4, and Jones to P... No, just one more. Jones to P4, Buggy to P5, Sinful now on P6. And Zabiaka all the way back to P8.
And Cosmo now in P3 as well on his faster tyres. Do you think Cosmo is going to be able to make it to the end on his medium? Because if he is, he will have a great shot of being on the podium from down in P13.
I think he is. I think he is able to do it. But I do think also the last 3 laps are gonna be such a pain for Cosmo, because those mediums will run like 13 laps or something.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult for him at the end.
So yeah, Rodzilla, the drug dealer, joining me as well, saying Cosmo can definitely make it, and it is true. But I think the last few laps he's gonna be having so much trouble to keep that car on the good exits. And Matt Johnson pitting now. Let's see what is gonna happen. Spring and Cosmo now coming through the last few corners of the sector 3.
Yeah, Matt onto Haas to the end, and so he's choosing the safest option of the 3 compounds, making sure he gets to the end without any problems. And yeah, but Cosmo, he is catching Spring, but of course Spring still has to pit, and towards the end Cosmo will struggle because, yeah, as you said, the mediums will run out of life, and he will have to push to try and get rid of that 3 seconds penalty that he has if he wants to stay on the podium.
Yeah, also
so it'll be difficult.
Matt Johnson having a nice gap towards P2, but he has 3 seconds though, so if Cosmo is pace is enough, he might be able to attack him, but then he still needs to... Oh no, he doesn't, but he does need to work a lot hard. So might be able to get a win, maybe, because he is really closing up towards Spring.
Yeah, the gap to Matt from Cosmo is 5 seconds, 5.4 seconds. If he pushes hard enough, definitely could get the lead. Oh yeah, and of course, as you said, Matt also has a 3-second penalty, so it'll be even easier for him, seeing as they're even on penalties.
Yeah, he's safe still. So 4.7 towards Spring, so it's gonna be 5.5 towards Cosmo. Jones way behind there, so he's safe for the moment.
For the moment, yeah.
Maverick doing 14 lap on his hards now. Sabiaka are behind him on fresh hard tires. And the DRS is coming for Sabiaka.
Also, Westy and Octavio are very close as well. And Octavio on soft, so he'll be trying to get past Westy as soon as possible.
Bit of a moment from Sabiaka there. Might have got some dirty air a little bit. And again, after 14 laps, Maverick having such a good exit pace.
Yeah, Maverick We've got decent tyre wear. His tyres are 56% on the front left, so he'll definitely be wanting to pit soon. But of course, I guess he'll be pitting to the softs and trying to just churn out those fast laps to see who he could catch before the end of the race after he does pit.
Octavio having a decent pace towards Westy on those soft tires, but again he needs to pit again for another set of softs, I guess. Also Altea going really good, and Maverick now having the position lost towards Sabiaka, and I think after 2 more laps Maverick will consider to go in for a set of soft tires, I guess. Softs?
Yeah.
Lap 18?
I think that would be the smartest option. Octavio is very close to Westy now. There's the yellow flags. That's Cosmo. Cosmo spun. Cosmo spun in sector 3 after pitting for new mediums, and Puggy's got past him now.
Oh yeah, Cosmo did spun. And that's an interesting one. Now it's gonna be a hard one for him.
Yeah, definitely. Chances of a podium have slipped away a bit.
Maverick didn't lose sight of Zabiaka though, still within the DRS range. Rossio again dropping down on Altea.
Yeah, and Octavio very close to Westy now. I think a train is starting to form because Westy has got it within 1 second of Maverick, just about. So yeah, Westy was closing to the Maverick.
It wasn't within the detection zone though. So he didn't get DRS.
Yeah, didn't get DRS.
Octavio now coming up and inside line. No, he doesn't want to stick it in. Westy making a late break again, just like we've seen from him in Brazil.
Octavio does have a good run there into the fast right-hander, but I think Octavio's just a bit too far. He's going to go through anyway.
Side by side there? No, you don't.
Yeah, very risky there. Good trying to go for an overtake.
Let's go on board with Buggy. Biggie Big on B4. Really goes towards Jones now for B3.
Yeah, Puggy was a really good race, and obviously they're both on the same amount of tyre wear. 4 laps old hard, so it's all about pace now. And really Puggy does also have more ERS, and yeah, really good pace.
Well, Jones seems to be having a bit more traction on the exits of turn 1 and 2, as the gap starts to become a bit more bigger there. So it definitely seems like sector 1 is for Jones, and then in sector 2 and 3, Buggy closes in again.
Yeah, of course, with the help of DRS as well through the long straight.
Xavier still hunting for the Maverick as he overtook Westy, and Russell Okan keeping it within the DRS range of Altea.
Yeah, really interesting fight through the mid-pack. Again, everyone in that DRS train is trying to see how close they can get to the car ahead.
I just missed the fact that Sinful still running those mediums for 17 laps.
17 laps, that's really good.
And so did Spring. But Spring now pitted. Let's see what Sinful's gonna do.
And Research as well.
Sinful still continuing. 17 laps, going for the 18 laps on those mediums. That's a ballsy move.
Yeah, 60% tyre wear. So he has kept those meds in pretty good condition, and yeah, I guess he's going to pit for soft towards the end.
Small DRS train again, up behind Sinful. Octavio, of course, on the faster tire.
Yeah, I think Octavio's got really solid pace on these soft tires.
Oh, and I think Octavio at the moment on the entry of the DRS zone. Now Maverick on towards Sinful. And he doesn't want to do it again, and he's absolutely right.
Yeah, of course, but whoever run into turn 11, I think it is.
Look at the run here, now into the fast right-hander, side by side. And Maverick having the better line. Taking back P6.
Oh, bit of contact there. Sinful just hit the back of Maverick, but doesn't have damage, luckily for him.
Maverick does have 5 seconds somehow. I don't know how he got there. Oh yeah, of course, he got there with the collision with Spring.
Yes.
Maverick now going in.
Oh.
So
Maverick and Sinful went in, and there was contact again.
Sinful,
but again,
I don't know
no
if
damage.
he got damage. No,
he doesn't have damage.
But the Maverick having 5 seconds worth of penalties, which he now can redeem. Sinful already running again. There goes Maverick for the soft tire. And he stays in front of Altea. Also Rosebeach running 19 lap on the mediums.
Yeah. It's crazy, but he does have 90% on his front left. And he does get another penalty.
3 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, definitely struggling on the mediums, but I guess
kinda missed him in the race, because he wasn't really
been alone quite a
involved.
lot. Definitely. But I guess just seeing how long he can go. Definitely struggling on the mediums there. Letting Sinful go through.
Yeah, knowing Sinful has more pace on those fresh soft tires.
I mean, the fact
he
that
has a DRS.
Yeah, and the fact that he can keep it on the track with his 90% tires along these fast right and left-handers is really impressive.
It is. That's a really good work from the AlphaTauri driver of Rosebeach, who won't provide a lot of having the advantage on those tires, but still.
Cosma did spin and did lose a position to Zabayaka, unfortunately for him. Down in P5 now.
Rusty Oka now under the pressure of Spring. Going through clean, and he is in P8 now. Also taking the fastest lap of the race. You can see now it's starting to be a bit cloudy, but no worries. It will stay dry.
Yep, 100%.
Otherwise, Shek has been lying to me.
No, it definitely will stay dry for the end of the race. Oh, and this is just finally in the pits after 19 laps on his mediums. And of course changes to soft tires.
On the DRS towards Octavio. Both amount of laps on the tires. Octavio having the softer tire though.
Yeah, so of course Octavio 43% on his front left, so he is going to be slower. Now that his soft tires have started to wear out. Yeah, Westy will be on the attack.
Yeah, Westy will take it based on his tire conditions. With 6 laps to go.
Case.
Yeah. Maverick on P11, trying to close in towards Sinful. But then, if he can reach Sinful, the gap is still 18 seconds towards Rogerio again on P9. Spring taking another fastest lap, so he's really pushing those softs.
Yeah, I think Spring has had a lot of pace throughout this evening, so yeah, really unlucky with the spins he's had. But and yeah, I think without those, he definitely would have been fighting for the podium. Definitely showing his pace, but yeah, unfortunately for the spin, he is down in P8. But still showing his pace as the fastest lap, which I'm guessing would be an extra point for him. Fastest lap.
If he finish, yeah, he's in top 10, so yeah. And the sun
It's
already gets through again. As there are big gaps at the moment on track, but Maverick actually closed in a lot towards Sinful. Very DRS now as well.
They both got the same amount of penalties. So it's all even for the end of the race. So it's all about pace now for the last 4 laps of this race.
For everybody wondering about the penalties currently on track, Sabiaka having after a really good race from him, he will drop down massively. And further down we got a lot of 3 and 6 seconds.
Yeah, unfortunately for Sabiaka, he will lose a lot of ground with penalties.
Drug Lord Rodzilla asking what up. Oh.
That's Cosme. Cosme spun and Exile Chan too.
Oh.
Down to P8 now.
P9 even. And that's quite Rusty giving it back. I don't know why though. It didn't seem like a yellow flag still, so, right?
No, I think it was fine. I'm not really sure what went on there.
Might be sportsmanship, I don't know. Yellow in sector 3 as well. And it's Rosebeard who spun on his fresh soft tires. Yeah, and that's definitely the inside curb there. So a shame for him. And Rodzilla asking what our predictions are for tomorrow's race. And I can't. I'm starting to look like evil a bit here in chat, and I just gotta say, I can't lie. I gotta win.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I have no expectations or predictions.
I just hope on a really good, clean race, same as low gear here tonight.
Yeah, what I would want is a clean race.
Exciting race. But someone spun again.
Octavio.
And it's Octavio, and he's dropped down to P9. And Maverick has an amazing pace. Or Sinful made a mistake, that can be as well.
Oh, Octavio spun, and all these guys who have pit early, they are struggling with tire wear come the end of the race, as you said. Octavio been on his stuff for 10 laps, and well, yeah, he's gonna struggle towards the end of the race. He's not moving. Oh, there we go. I think he's coming into pits.
So he's pitting again. Altea behind a Maverick on same amount of tires. And between penalties, Maverick has the advantage.
Yeah, and I have to say, all these guys without penalties have done a great job because this track is really easy to get a penalty at. I want the driver who doesn't have a penalty. It's Rusty Okan trying to go around the outside of Cosme into the chicane. And these drivers showing how it's done with the chicane. Still side by side.
Ooh, deep layer rake from Cosmo there. But Rusty having a better traction. And better exit as well. And I guess this is at the moment that Cosmo, his tires are starting to feel a bit weared off. And of course also because he spun, that didn't help the tires as well. Altea is still running P10, having a bit of trouble on the exits. And that's exactly where you take those warnings, I guess. On the exits of a corner, and he braked really late there, and that's advantage gone towards the Maverick. He still got DRS though, because he was in the DRS detection zone within a second. Even Shack Attack joining in chat now. That's lovely.
Yeah, lovely. Of course, you want everyone to be in the trap.
We want everyone
Many
to be in
people
the
as
trap.
possible.
The Sprink getting up to Zabiaka here. And he might still be able to get a decent result after a really, really unfortunate race for him. Spunning early in a race.
This will be a great comeback. A great comeback for him, should I say? To get P4 if he can.
Actually, doing math now, I think even Westy will jump him.
Guys, quick
Zabiaka.
math. Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, Westy should jump him.
In the end, a good result for Westy as well then, if he keeps it like this.
Yeah, of course, and if Rusty Orokan picks up the pace, he could be able to get Zappa Tracker as well.
Oh, Cosmo taking out 3 seconds.
Yeah, difficult end of the race for Cosmo. Obviously, he has great pace, but this is a few unlucky spins and penalties costing him.
I think Rusty will jump. No, he won't. No. He's 4 tenths too much. Towards
anyways, he's gonna have to obviously push the end of the race.
Yeah, but I guess the DH between tires is definitely not helping him out here as well. And Zabiaka, of course, having a DRS every time.
Yeah, so he's gonna get pulled by Sprink. But if they start fighting, then it's gonna lose a lot of time. Matt now starts the final lap. He's 10.7 seconds ahead of Puggy, so he's had a great race. Not really fighting anyone this whole race, just kept it clean. Had consistent pace and really controlled the race.
And Evil, I know Zabiaka's penalty will probably be removed. And maybe Westy will be added, I don't know. That's all up to the stewards, of course. But we're talking on track here. And Westy will take it on track so far. And after stewarding, of course, everything can change.
Oh, Cosmo's got a puncture.
What?
He's into the pits. Yeah, on the final lap he's got a puncture.
Oh yeah, he does. Front left.
Yeah. I'm not sure how that's happened.
Oh, and that's he might be lucky still keeping it on track then. And if it happened one lap early, it might have been a bit more lucky for the fastest lap, but he doesn't. Oh, Altea and Maverick side by side. Maverick taking the inside line, and that's a good defending move from the Maverick there. He doesn't need to. He has the penalty advantage, but he does want to do it on track, and that's absolutely right.
Yeah, but Matt Johnson ran in the final corners now.
Yeah, we'll switch to Mr. No Man Land in a second. Of course, he was in a race of his own, and he was already on the last lap. I didn't notice. Let's go. Matt Johnson won the race. No excitement for him at all, a bit. But then again, Spritzy will be very glad with him. After a clean, nice race, a consistent one. Big Buggy taking a P2 in his first race of low gear division. That's a really good result from the Mercedes driver. And Jones taking P3 in the end for the Aston Martin team. And I think that will drop him down. No, it won't drop him down, I believe. I don't know.
Rusty Orokan stays. Is that
Rusty stays. Westy jumping to P5 after penalties for Zabiaka, which the stewards might still be looking at. Spring taking P4, a good recovery from him. And I believe, to be honest, Jones will be jumped by Matt Johnson now in the championship, but I don't know for sure. Rusty taking P5, 7. Wow. Maverick on P8, really good result for him. After a nice, good race from him. We've seen him much on track. Altea in P9. Cosmo dropping all the way back to P10. Octavio on P11. Sinful on P12. Rose Beach on P13, and Spivey all the way at the back at P14. And unfortunately, Masquetta retired in the pit lane, and he having no results tonight.
Yep, and I don't think Matt will overtake Jones in the standings.
Our winner already joined. We're gonna go to you in a set, mate. As we are watching the last standings here. And yeah, Rosilla, indeed, a really interesting race so far. And there we go for the final standings of the race here in Low Gear Division round 4.
Yeah, no, and Matt will not overtake Jones, I'm pretty sure, because there is a 9 points difference.
9 points difference. No, that's unfortunately then. We tried to be quick math, but it didn't result. Well, it's 10 seconds left. I'm let you to interview the winner of tonight's race, Shaq. Matt Johnson already in party. Please confirm if you can hear him, and otherwise we'll start over with the interview.
Yeah, mate, how are you doing? How's your race? Yeah, of course you were in a league of your own there, really. Was it a bit boring or? Oh, yeah. Would you have enjoyed a race with a few other drivers around you, or did you just enjoy that? Yeah, obviously the strategy was very good and I guess quite easy considering there wasn't a lot of people around you.
Oh, and there's a bit of audio problems, so Matt, I need you to share your audio if possible.
Ah.
So, but so far, to be honest, let's be a quick one. Matt actually shared. He had a really clean as he left. That's shameful. But he had a really clean race, bit boring as he said as well. Oh, and he joined again. So I hope his audio is good now.
Yeah, if the chat can just confirm that we can hear Matt, and that'd be good. Yeah.
Hello.
Right, yeah, it should be good now. Okay,
yeah,
continue.
I guess you can just say everything again.
Yeah, so it was a good race, very consistent. Good lap times, I'd say, on the hards and the mediums. First stint, we stayed out a couple of laps late. We were going to go onto the softs, but decided to pit in the end, and then managed to build a nice 10-second gap after going into the second stint. But yeah, it's good.
Well, congrats from me as well, mate. After really, race in no man's land, and well, good result in the end. So Spritzy will be very glad with you here tonight.
Thank you.
And then we're gonna take to P3 in the Aston Martin car. Shep, maybe you want to do him as well. After your first interview, got a bit caught up. Jones on P3 in the Aston Martin.
Yeah, congratulations on P3. And how was your race and all your fighting through the race? Because I saw that there was a lot of fighting with you through the race.
Yeah, it was okay. I think it was kind of early doors, and then I just knew I didn't have the pace to keep Puggy behind, so I didn't try and fight it too much. Matt was just seriously quick today. Like once he got ahead of people, and I just couldn't really make a dent into his lead. So I just thought I'd keep it clean, and I think that keeps me 1 point ahead of him. By the skin of my teeth.
And you got no penalties, am I right? Or?
Yeah, which is quite surprising for me.
Yeah,
usually I get quite a few for exceeding track limits here and there.
Yeah, a lot of people had a lot of penalties, so congratulations on not getting the penalty. And one last question from me. How was the transition between wet and dry and qualifying in the race? Because, of course, it was going to be quite difficult at the start of the race, especially because, you guys weren't really used to the track conditions. So how was that?
Yeah, I think I mean, I had my dry set up anyway in the wet, so you just had to be careful there. Obviously, you just felt like you could push so much more in the race, which is usually I feel terrible the first few laps with a higher fuel load, so it was actually quite nice once actually having some grip. But yeah, it was tough at first with the wet, and then went to switch the inters in qualifying. Yeah, I just messed up on my last run on that, but yeah, it was quite interesting having the different weather tonight.
Yeah, that was quite interesting.
And a good recovery from your teammate as well, coming all the way down from P13, I believe. So the
Yeah, I
Aston
was speaking
Martins.
to him as it was going on, and we discussing. He was keeping me updated on, I think, some pretty hairy battles throughout the field. So
Did the Aston
sounded good.
Martins rule France here tonight?
Uh, yeah, I think we got some good points again. I think it's been close with us in Alpine all season, but Matt just seems to have the pace right now. So I was hoping he might just take a bit too much curb and lose his back end at something, but it didn't look like that was going to happen.
Well, in the end, you had a really good result, mate, and congrats from me as well. It
Yeah, cheers,
doesn't
guys.
seem like a P2 driver joined. So these are the interviews for tonight, and this was the race for tonight in RPM Esports. Round 4 in low gear division. We got an amazing side on the race. We got one with an amazing pace who won the race, and we got a lot of action behind him down the grid. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight on RPM Esports. If you didn't like and subscribe on our channel yet, please make sure to do. Shaq, any last words from you?
Yeah, so it was a great race today, and we'll hope to see you tomorrow for mid-gear.
Yeah, as you can see, me and Shack Attack shine on track, hopefully. And
Hopefully, yeah.
let's hopefully see you all back tomorrow in mid gear division. See you guys. Have a great evening.